Hello children. Today in English for Standard 4, we are going to learn a new lesson. The King of the Golden River Part 1. Now children, this lesson is divided into two parts. Today we will learn part 1. I will read and explain you the lesson. So pay careful attention. Long, long ago, in the mountainous part of a country, there was a fertile valley. There were many waterfalls leaping down the mountain tops, but not into the valley. They all ran down the other side of the mountain. One of the falls was very high and shone like gold in the beams of the evening sun. People called it the Golden River. In this paragraph, we understand that there was a country and it was a mountainous place. It had a fertile valley. Now, what is the meaning of fertile? Fertile means able to produce great crops. And valley means a low area between hills. So there were many waterfalls, as you can see in the picture, which were leaping down the mountain tops, but not into the valley. Leaping means flowing in force downwards. And they all ran to the other side of the mountain. One of the falls was very high and it shone. Shone means it was shining like gold in the beams. Beams means in the rays of the evening sun. And people used to call that river as the Golden River. Now let's read the next paragraph. Now though there were no streams running down to the valley itself, the wind constantly brought the clouds to the valley. Even when the rest of the country was dry, it always rained in the valley. In the valley, the wind and the clouds made the crops green, the hay high, the apples red, the grapes purple, and the honey sweet. People called it the Treasure Valley. Now in this paragraph, we understand that though there were no streams running down to the valley itself, but the wind was constantly bringing the clouds to the valley. And because of that, the rest of the country was dry. But this valley, it had lots of rain, and because of good rain, the crops were growing over there. There was greenery everywhere. The hay was high, the apples were red in color, grapes in purple, and the honey was also sweet. So there was lot of food and crops. So because of that, the people used to call this as the Treasure Valley. Let's read the next paragraph. The Treasure Valley belonged to three brothers, Schwartz, Hans, and Gulp. The two older brothers were big, ugly, and wicked. They were good farmers, but they killed everything that was not profitable for them. Even little things like blackbirds and hedgehogs and crickets. They did not treat their servants well and gave them only poor wages. So in this paragraph, we come to know that there were three brothers who lived in this Treasure Valley. Schwartz, Hans and Gulp. And the two older brothers were very wicked, big and ugly. They were good farmers, but they used to kill whatever was not profitable for them, like the small blackbirds, the hedgehogs and the crickets. They did not treat their servants well and gave them only poor wages. They waited till the corn had become very expensive in the market and then sold it for twice its value. They were very rich, but they never ever gave even so much as a penny to the poor. People call them the Black Brothers. So here we understand in this paragraph that these two brothers, as we read in the previous paragraph, that they were wicked, big and ugly. They were good farmers, but they used to even treat their servants in a bad way. Wages means the money that is paid for the work that a person does. So they used to give very little for the servants who used to work for them. And they used to grow crops, that is the corn. They used to wait for it to become expensive in the market, and after that they used to sell it twice its rate. So this way they were becoming very rich. But when anybody is to come for help, or any poor is to ask for, penny means money, they used to not help anybody. Because of that, the other people who were staying over there used to call these brothers as the Black Brothers. Now let's read the next paragraph. The youngest of the three brothers was only 12 years old. He was just the opposite of his brothers. He was kind to every living thing. Though his own brothers were cruel to him and made him do all the cooking and the mending and the housework for them. So in this paragraph we understand that the youngest brother of these three brothers, whose name was Galk, he was only 12 years old and he was just the opposite of his brothers. He was very kind and he used to live along with his brothers, but his brothers were very cruel to him. They used to make him work day and night. He used to do all the housework, the cooking, the mending, cleaning, everything. And these brothers used to just enjoy themselves. The next paragraph. One evening, the two brothers had gone out. As usual, they had warned Galk to let nobody in and give nothing out. Galk was to get their dinner ready for them. So here we understand that one evening these two brothers had gone out, and they had, before going anyway out, they used to always give a warning to Galk that let nobody in and give nothing out, means give nothing from inside the house to anybody else, don't help anybody. And Galk had to prepare the dinner for them, so he was in that preparations when they left. Mending means repairing. Let's read the next paragraph. It was raining very hard outside and the weather was very cold. Just then, there was a double knock on the door. Galk went to the window and put his head out to see who it was. He saw the most extraordinary looking gentleman standing at the door. The strange visitor was very short, with a large nose, red cheeks, curly moustache, and merry twinkling eyes. He wore a conical cap as high as himself and a cloak 4 times as long. "I am wet. Let me in," said the stranger. "I beg pardon, sir," said Gulk. "I'm very sorry, but I really can't. My brothers would beat me to death if I did any such thing." But Gulk saw how hard it was raining, and how cold it was, and how wet the gentleman looked. So he opened the door and let the stranger in. Gulk thought he would let the stranger get warm inside for some time and ask him to leave before his brothers came home. So here in this paragraphs we come to know that it was raining very hard outside and the weather was very cold, and at that time Gulk heard a double knock on the door. When Gulk put his head outside his window to peep and see who it was, he saw a very extraordinary looking gentleman who was standing at the door. And when he saw that strange visitor, he was short, with a large nose, red cheeks, curly moustache, merry twinkling eyes. He was wearing a conical cap as high as himself and a cloak. Cloak means a warm piece of clothing, 4 times as long it was. He had become full wet because it was raining, and he was pleading Gulk to let him inside the house since he was full wet. And Gulk said to him that he couldn't do that because if his brothers come to know, as he had already given him a warning that if anybody comes in, they would beat him to death. So Gulk was thinking now what to do. But looking at the situation, the weather which was cold and it was raining, he saw that the gentleman was full wet. So he felt pity on that strange visitor and he opened the door and he allowed him inside. He thought that before his brothers would return back home, he would allow the strange visitor to warm himself, become dry, and then tell him to leave. Now let's read the next paragraph. The stranger, however, had no plans of leaving. In fact, he told Gulk that he had nothing to eat for 2 days and was very hungry. It melted Gulk's heart to hear this. So he decided to give the stranger a part of his own dinner. Before the stranger had eaten it, however, the wicked brothers returned. They were shocked to see the little gentleman sitting in the house. Here in these paragraphs we understand that Gulk allowed the stranger inside, but the stranger was sitting calm and quiet and relaxed. He had no plan of leaving. And then the stranger told Gulk that he had ate nothing for 2 days and he was very hungry. And as we know that Gulk was a very kind person, his heart melted over what the stranger told him. And he said that the dinner which I have prepared, you can take my share and have it since you are so hungry. And before the stranger had eaten it, the wicked brothers returned. And they were very shocked and angry to see this little gentleman sitting in their house. Now let's read the next paragraph. At once the brothers began to shout at Gulk. Schwartz threw a rolling pin at Gulk. At that instant, The stranger put in his conical cap, and the rolling pin went spinning to a corner of the room. Here in this paragraph, we understand that the wicked brothers were very angry when they saw this stranger in the house. And the moment they began to shout at Gulk, one of the brothers, whose name was Schwartz, he threw a rolling pin towards Gulk, and the stranger saw it. He removed his conical cap and put it in the middle of that rolling pin. So in which direction it was going to come towards Gulk, it went to the other corner of the room and it fell down. Now let's read the next paragraph. The brothers turned to the visitor and ordered him to get out of the house. The little man asked them humbly to let him stay, as it was so cold and wet outside. But the evil brothers couldn't listen. They rushed at the old man to throw him out of the house. To their surprise, they found that they couldn't touch him. Instead, they were themselves swept into the corner with the rolling pin. In this paragraph, we understand that the brothers were so angry now that they wanted to throw the strange visitor out of their house, and they ordered him to leave. But the little man humbly spoke to them and told that since it was raining outside and it was all wet and the climate was also very cold, please allow him to stay in the house. But the evil brothers did not listen, and they wanted to hold him and throw him out of the house. The moment they went to touch him, they couldn't, and they were swept to the corner like the rolling pin. Let's read the next paragraph. Then the old gentleman gathered his cloak and cap and said, "At 12 o'clock tonight, I'll call again. But since you have treated me so badly, it will be the last visit I pay you." Then he went away like a whirlwind. In this paragraph, we come to know that the old gentleman was very upset, and he gathered his cloak and cap, and he told these evil brothers that at 12 o'clock tonight I'll call you again, and since you have treated me so badly, it will be my last visit. And he just disappeared like a whirlwind. Whirlwind means a column of air moving rapidly round and round. Let's read the next paragraph. That night, a big storm woke the brothers. It shook the house and blew away the roof. Once again, the wicked brothers saw the strange visitor. He was sitting on a cloud, bobbing up and down. Here in this paragraph, we understand that the moment this strange visitor had disappeared like a whirlwind, that same night there was a big storm and it had destroyed everything. The house had shook, it had shaken like anything, blew away the roof, and the wicked brothers again saw this strange visitor who was sitting on a cloud and bobbing up and down. Bobbing means moving quickly up and down. Next paragraph. You may go to your brother's room. I have not damaged it, he told Hans and Schwartz. Remember, this is my last visit. You will find my card on the table. And with those words, he disappeared. In this paragraph, we come to know as he had damaged everything over there due to the storm. He told Hans and Schwartz that his brother's room was not damaged, that his Gulk's room was safe and they could stay over there. And he told them that this will be the last visit of mine and I have kept a card on the table for you. And saying those words, he just disappeared from there. Let's read the next paragraph. In the morning, the brothers saw from the window that the storm had swept away whole trees and crops from Treasure Valley. Everywhere they saw only red sand and grey mud. The valley was picture of ruin. The brothers then crept into the kitchen. On the kitchen table there was a small white card. In this paragraph, we understand that in the morning when the brothers got up, they saw from the window that the storm had destroyed everything. It had swept away all the trees, the crops of the Treasure Valley, and now only they could see is the red sand and the grey mud. And the valley was a picture of ruin. Ruin means the state of being destroyed or severely damaged. And the brothers then went to the kitchen. On the kitchen table there was a small white card as the strange visitor had told them. And on that it was written over there, Southwest Wind Esker. I hope so you have understood the lesson and enjoyed watching the video. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe my channel and stay tuned for more videos. In the second part, we'll understand what happened next. Bye-bye.